All right. It looks like we are live. Let me get going on. What's up, everybody? Give me 1 second. I got to connect a few pieces here. I think looks like we are live on Facebook, LinkedIn. How are we looking? Are we live on Instagram yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. Technology. Love it. So let's do the live. Why's there got to be so many buttons? This is crazy. I'm almost a minute into this live. All right, so go live. I don't know. LinkedIn's giving me a hard time. Anyway, I'm going to jump right into it. What's up, everybody? This is Kris with Dugout Mugs. If you don't know what Dugout Mugs are, I'm sorry, but I don't know where you've been. We're the guys taking the baseball bat barrels, hollowing them out, turning them into probably one of the coolest drinking mugs on the planet. That's what we do. But from time to time, we get some cool people that want to hop on and share some stories. I love that part. We're connected to a lot of amazing people, amazing players. Last month, if you were watching what we got going on, we're working with the R2 Cares Foundation, and we're going to continue to do that. So first and foremost, I'm going to bring on Ronnie, and then we also have a guest, Trey Mancini, is coming on to talk a little bit about his journey, the ups and downs of baseball life, and a few other things, because it ties right into mental health, mental fitness, and awareness. So let me get these gentlemen on here so we waste no time. What's up, Ronnie? How you doing, man?
What's up, man? How you doing today?
Y'all up in the clubhouse. Where you at today?
Yeah, we're up here in Biloxi, Mississippi, playing the Brewers right now.
Oh, okay. You off today, or y'all got a game this afternoon?
No, man. Only off days are Mondays, but we got a game here later on this afternoon. Just getting ready for the day, getting prepared.
Awesome. Well, let me see. Jared, if you can figure out Instagram, be my guest. I don't know, my man. Try that. We're going to keep trying to get live on Instagram. People on Instagram don't know that, but they're going to find out in a second. All right, so let's go ahead and bring Trey on, man. Let me find that button. There he is. What's up?
What's up, guys? How we doing?
The guy, Trey Mancini. Welcome to Dugout Mugs, and obviously you know Ronnie over at R2 Cares.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Happy to be here.
Yeah, well, always representing Polk County. This is 3 Polk County guys just chopping it up.
Absolutely.
That's kind of wild to say.
Love that, man.
Yeah, you didn't know we were
Winter
Haven guys, did you?
No, I mean, I think it was maybe my rookie year or second year that I originally had heard about your guys and your company. And until Ronnie told me a week or two ago that you guys were from Winter Haven, I'd never put 2 and 2 together. I don't know how, because I have some of your mugs, and it's an awesome product. So
yeah, well,
I thought that was awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude. I remember making mugs. I think it was shortly after 2020 for I think your mom and your dad. It was a Orioles mug with like an engraved signature in the bottom of it. It was pretty cool. My mom called me and she's like, "Oh, so and so." I'm like, "I know who they are." And so anyway, we ripped out a couple. So your mom and dad probably have a custom mug.
Yeah, my parents have it at their house.
Yeah. Exactly. So,
yep.
Well, yeah. So I'm going to jump right into it. Appreciate the time, Ronnie. If you would take a second, just a quick what's going on with R2 Cares? Fill everybody in on that, because you haven't been able to make the last couple lives.
Yeah, we're just building out our programs, man, and just trying to bring the awareness to get ahead of our major annual event in November, with the goals and hopes of bringing our local guys that play professionally to join in on our event, to give them the panel, give them the opportunity to come in and speak on their post-life careers, still currently what they're doing with their foundations, a way to collab and bring everyone back, to give the kids from our area and the state just hope and the aspirations to do what we've already done.
When are you doing that again? Tell me again when that is.
So November 21st is the panel, and then the 22nd will be the Kids Camp, Turkey Drive, and Emerging Leaders game, which is always a fun day.
Oh, cool. And they're back-to-back days?
Yes.
Nice. Are you going to be in town around that, Trey, or no?
My wife and I are expecting a kid in October.
Okay.
We're having a baby, our first baby, so
congratulations.
TBD. I'd love to be there. So we'll see.
Well,
we'll see.
hopefully.
But yeah,
The big
more,
priorities,
if
man.
I can
Look, I
even
got
be there
two.
virtually at the very least, I'd love
Yeah.
to, because it's a cause that's near and dear to my heart as well, and I absolutely love what Ronnie's doing.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, any chance I get to work with local, I'm doing it. I'm from here, right? And if we're starting something here and we're making an impact here, you know, I wasn't a premier athlete, obviously, that made it a long way, but I did mine. I'm a businessman. I did it in a different way, but you know, I'm going to hopefully be there talking about entrepreneurship and the mental side of that, the ups and downs with that. But I want to dig into your journey a little bit. So obviously you were a rookie. Was it 2019?
I got called up in 16, and then my rookie year was 17. Like that full season was my rookie year.
17. Actually, I have it right here. It was 9/20 was your rookie debut.
Yes.
9/20/16 brought you up for a cup of coffee, but and then you stayed. You started crushing all the way up. I was looking at your stats, and what was it? 2019. It was 33 bombs and almost 100 RBIs.
Yeah, it was a good season in 19. You know, it was my third year. I really felt comfortable and felt like I belonged. Not that I didn't before, but I really felt established at that point, and it allowed me to play a little more free that year and put up some good numbers. It was a fun year.
Yeah, 19 looked good. 20 didn't look so good.
20
was a little bit
tough
different of a year. I'm gonna let you tell the story though.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do it.
20 was a tough year. So I got to spring training. We do our typical physicals, our blood tests, you know, all the classic stuff that you just kind of do whenever you get to spring training. And the blood work came back and my iron levels looked really low. And they retested it and they came back really low again. So at that point, the trainers luckily took initiative. They knew I was likely bleeding internally, and they ordered a colonoscopy and endoscopy for me, which typically you wouldn't do for a 27-year-old, but they did it anyway. And during the colonoscopy, the doctor found a tumor in my colon, and shortly after I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. And at that point, you know, any baseball accomplishments or that season went you know, so far from my mind. At that point, it was just about surviving and getting through that. And I had surgery, 6 months of chemotherapy, and it was a really tough time.
Yeah.
And, you know, got through it, but it's tough.
Let me back you up 1 second, because I'm curious. So I had an event in my life, right? That's not the topic of this conversation, but I had there was a pretty large number that I was not making it. And I was like, that's a high enough percentage to freak me out.
Yes.
Tell me what the next like week to 2 weeks looked like, felt like, and what clicked, because people don't understand that. And I know it was significant.
Yes. So I, of course, went and started Googling statistics of survival rates of stage 3 colon cancer. And I'd been diagnosed with a particularly aggressive form, and luckily they found it when they did, because I didn't have any physical symptoms because of how quickly it was growing, basically. So I felt lucky while simultaneously feeling unlucky. And a lot of the time when I was going through this, I was caught between, you know, feeling lucky to be alive, but then also bitter about the timing of it, and especially career-wise, what it would mean for me moving forward. And you go into fight or flight mode though whenever you're going through something like this. So at the time, I had 12 treatments. You take it, and my treatments were every other week. So I knew I wouldn't feel great for a week, and then I'd feel pretty good for that in-between week. So you just kind of get used to that routine, kind of punch the clock, get through it, and
zone out almost.
Zone out almost.
And baseball a distraction or an outlet?
So that season, it was in 2020, everybody just played the 60-game season. So I was able to watch my team on TV. I wasn't even allowed to go to the stadium because of all the COVID rules, everything. So I was just away from the game that year. And then I finished chemotherapy in September of 2020, and I had about 4 months to get ready for the next year. And once I finished chemo and, you know, by all accounts, everything looked pretty good, then I turned my attention to baseball. But you're still left wondering after you finish chemo, like, A, what just happened to me? B, I hope this doesn't come back, because if it does, it's a really, really horrible prognosis. So, you know, you end that chapter, but then I feel like the real mental battle actually began after I finished chemo. And then, you know, I was expected to go back, play baseball, and try to be the same player that I was before. And it's a lot to handle, while also getting a lot of media attention. You know, there's a lot of distractions thrown your way. It was a very tough time, especially in 2021, going through all that.
Yeah, that actually brings up something. So when you're looked at like an inspiration or the comeback kid or like whatever, right? Whatever they named it in that article, but how much extra pressure does that add to the thing? Like you're like, I'm just trying to be like Trey, the baseball player again, Trey, the husband and son again. I'm not trying to be it's inevitable, but like, how much weight does that add?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously needed to be public about what I was going through, and felt the responsibility to do so to help spread awareness. And unfortunately, a lot of young people are getting diagnosed with colon cancer now, when it previously was seen as a disease that only affected the older generation. But yeah, it was tough. You know, I kind of got thrown into it, and I was trying to focus most of my attention on just maintaining a healthy lifestyle, while also like getting ready for a season, because my body went through a lot during chemo. So it was just kind of a crash course every day, and like working out, just crushing myself, trying to get ready to play a season. And yeah, it's tough to do.
Yeah. Well, so you're and for those who don't know, you're back in AAA right now. You're with the Diamondbacks.
I am,
right?
the Diamondbacks, yes. So I'm playing in the Reno Aces are my team. And I basically quasi-retired last year. Thought I was done, and then decided to give it one more shot this year, and I'm glad I did. It's been really enjoyable.
Do you think it's you're snapping back to your, I don't want to say potential, I'd say expectation, you know, because like we set expectations for ourselves, or is this almost, and again, maybe you don't know, or is this like closure? Like I'm going to give it 100% one more time. I'm either going to make it, or I'm going to wrap it up like a king champion, and then I'm going to go be, you know, dad.
Exactly. That's the mindset. And it's just, you know, taking it as far as I can, but also like ending it on my own terms. I think there was an incompleteness that I felt last year, and I wanted to come back and really try to enjoy the game every single day, and just leave it all out there on the field, and give it my all. Not that I didn't before, but I think, you know, those 3 years following coming off cancer, it was just tough, and your priorities change, so I wanted to come back and give it another shot, and leave it all out there.
I think the best, and because again, I want to keep touching, and hold on, but Ronnie, I have you on mute because I was getting background. So just unmute before you chime in. Okay, bro? Just so you know.
Gotcha.
We just had a background, and I didn't want to have the echo.
Yeah, a couple players was finishing their workout, so they're good now.
Tell them to drop in and say what's up.
You guys are in there grinding early today.
Yeah, well, gym time, you know.
That's awesome.
On the road, you only get a time to go to their gym.
Okay,
Colton Ledbetter over there, he saw some stuff for Dugout Mugs for us.
Awesome.
Nice. Well, hey, if anybody wants to pop in, say what's up. It's going to be going live. Okay, so anyway, back to what we were talking. I'm good at getting distracted, so it's kind of like a thing about an entrepreneur. Like well, let's talk about the road. I mean, you guys are just talking about it. You went to a few different clubhouses. You were Orioles forever, and then you did Astros
and Cubs.
So how was it going to these other clubs for a stint with everything that was going on?
Yeah, so I was with the Orioles. I got drafted by them in 2013 and then traded at the deadline in 22. So 10 seasons with them, and it was home to me. It's where I met my wife. It's where I went through all my treatments. I played on every single minor league team, and all the minor league teams with the Orioles are local. So, Baltimore just felt so much like home to me. So it was really bittersweet getting traded, especially when I did. We had just turned things around that year in 22, and it was some of the most fun I had ever had playing. But we knew that our chances of making the postseason were still low, and then a couple of us got traded from the team, a couple of us that were going to be free agents after the season. And Houston was such a cool experience. We won the World Series. It was really neat going to a new clubhouse, meeting a whole new group of guys too. So it was such a cool experience while also being tough, like leaving Baltimore and the only place I had known, and a place that I had so much emotional attachment to for so many reasons, like very deep reasons that most players, I guess, don't have with that city. So it was kind of like a strange balance in being appreciative for the opportunity to be on this team, to win a World Series, while also, missing Baltimore too.
Yeah, I've worked with a couple of the players in Baltimore. I've not been to a game there. I did something with the Ripken group, Ripken Foundation. Cal's great, and it was great.
Oh yeah, he's the man.
But Houston, I've worked with several of the players. I've been involved with that group all the way back with Musgrove in I think it was 2017. We were raising money for one of the hurricanes that came through or something. So I've had an opportunity to work, and it was such a cool group. Such a cool group of guys out there with Houston, and I could speak to that personally, right? That would have been a cool. And then I see a couple of the guys have made it over to Chicago too. So I'm going to Wrigley, I think, in a few weeks when I think the Guardians are in town.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so I work with Tuck a little bit, and he's up there in Chicago now.
Yeah,
and
Tuck's the man.
Obviously, Ryan just closing stuff out up there. So it's going to be neat to go to a Cubs game in Wrigley in the middle of summer.
That's going to be awesome. And yeah, I
Good
think
squads,
the best part of baseball is like the guys you meet and the relationships you make in the sport. And I think most players would tell you after they're done, they just miss like that camaraderie the most, more than anything else. And, it's a really cool part of the game.
Yeah. So tell me about some of the friendships you've made along the way. I mean, obviously people that have gone through tough times with you in the locker room, they're going to have a little different relationship with you for the rest of your life. A few of these guys you got to be carrying with you. These end up being the best men in the wedding and the things like that.
Yeah, for sure. I like in baseball in general, like even my Winter Haven High School guys, I'm so close with all my teammates from there, still college. A bunch of them were in my wedding. And then pro ball, like the guys I got drafted with the Orioles, a lot of times they tell you when you get to pro ball, it's going to be a lot different than college because it's more dog eat dog and it's not as much of a team atmosphere. I didn't experience that at all.
Oh, cool.
The group I got drafted with was amazing. We all went up through the minors together, and I feel really lucky with the people I've been surrounded by my whole life in the game. And I think that's made the game more enjoyable than way more enjoyable than it would have if that weren't the case.
How crucial were those people? Again, I want to keep the pulse on mental and health and mental fitness, like leaning in outside of friends and family, right? Like your experience, you had to lean into them. How I don't think people understand how crucial it is to be vulnerable and have a group that you can be vulnerable with.
Yes.
Right. And can you talk on that at all? Because I know you had to touch on that during this time.
Definitely. Well, like even before that happened, baseball, before I was diagnosed with cancer, like the biggest problems I had in my life were baseball slumps. So even when I was going through those growing up for a while, I tried to internalize it and get through it myself. And, my performance would get even worse when I was trying to do that. You're in your own head, you're like ready to crash out basically and explode. But then I'd finally go to one of my hitting coaches or some sort of mentor and then have a conversation with them. And sometimes they'd show you tough love. Sometimes they'd, give you advice physically on what you need to do differently. But every time it would snap me out of the slump. So having done that, I knew when I was going through this that I, couldn't internalize it. And
Yeah, this is way more than a
because we all like don't want to burden others, and I was more concerned about everybody else and how they were going to react to my family and friends than I was really for myself. But you're only as good as the people around you, and luckily baseball taught me that early on, and that really helped me throughout 2020. Just the support that I received, and so many other former colon cancer patients too reached out to me. That's what helped me the most when I was going through it, was hearing the voice of somebody else that had gone through it and knew they were okay. And
you think
so
it's
now
just
I
me,
try to do
it's
that
not.
for anybody that gets diagnosed that I hear about it. I'll give them a call and tell them about my experience. But you need other people to lean on, because you can't internalize it and get through it yourself and kind of silently suffer. Because it's easy to do that, but you need to be surrounded by great people who you can lean on.
Yeah, so I want to jump in right there, right? You mentioned about leaning on other people and some of your teammates. You mentioned the first thing, your coaches or outside mentor. How did you find that within the clubhouse with other players? How did you get to that point?
It's always been kind of easy, because I think I luckily have been around great people who naturally, like, they know how a good team operates, and a good team operates by everybody getting to know each other. The best teams I've been on, you're not co-workers and you don't just coexist. You get to know your teammates and, details about their lives, and it brings you closer, because whenever you're in a tight game in a huge situation, and you want to look to the guy next to you and know that they're your friend and they're somebody that you can trust and lean on. And that makes a big difference in that, it can take a good team to a great team, is just like having that camaraderie and trust between each other. And you do that by really getting to know one another.
You said some. Talk about this all the time with our guys personally, especially from the baseball side, right? These guys feel like they're alone. They're top prospects, right? So they feel like they're alone. And my big thing and my motto is, you're in AA. You're a great player already. I don't care about the player, right? I want to know about the human. So that's what kind of started our 2Ks. Get to know the human, because at the end of the day, like, you were balancing something off the field that only the people that you talked about can talk about, right?
Yeah.
Some people don't know. We want to have sympathy and empathy, right? But we don't know exactly what to say or how to say it when someone's balanced something that deep, right?
Right.
So we like to just talk about all of those things with our foundations, man, because we don't know who we could help save their life, for one, but also get them over that insecurity of talking about their problems.
Right. Yeah. Because it definitely, you can think sometimes that you're being vulnerable is like a sign of weakness, but it's not. You're going to, in the long run, be better by voicing what's going on and moving through it, moving past it, and clearing your mind so it can lead you to having the best performance that you can.
Well, so you're technically now a veteran player, right? You're going to have to give advice. You're going to be a leader in a locker room or in a household or anywhere. With my advice that I've given people now has significantly changed based on my real world experiences, right? If somebody's dealing, whether it be the injury or the trade or the life-changing thing or the loss of a child or something, what kind of advice are you giving them right now that you've seen through a different lens?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely depends on the situation, but you learn through your experiences, and you definitely do get wiser as you get older, just having gone through things repeatedly and repeatedly. And you just got to look at the big picture and know that you're going to get through it. And at the time, a lot of problems and issues feel like such a big deal, and like it's going to be this massive life-changing event, especially like baseball. If you're going through a massive slump, you're worried about a demotion, you're worried about getting benched. In the grand scheme of things, it iron sharpens iron, and you can get through it. But yeah, you just have to really take things day by day and not look too far into the future of what you want things to look like in 3 months. You just have to slowly build your house, go about each day in a way that you'll be proud of when you go to bed at night, and be patient. And then when 3 months passes, 6 months passes, you'll be where you want to be, but you can't will that to happen in one day. You have to take every day slowly and kind of win that day.
It sounds cliche, but there's a reason it's a cliche, right? It is one step at a time. It's real, because if you focus on the results, it's often overwhelming. But if you focus on the consistency and the alignment of the actions you're taking on a daily by day, every 4 hours, like you can break it down granularly as you want. The reality is the results are going to be the outcome of this consistency and alignment. Right.
Exactly.
And I think one of the things you kind of touched on, and I tell people at times, it's not as, when you really identify your priorities, the problems you're dealing with aren't really problems. Like, I don't know how you feel about it. I felt extremely lucky that I had a very traumatic experience, because it got me in a frame of mind that I wouldn't have gotten to for decades. Right. Like you're in your early 30s and you have a perspective that most can't achieve at twice your age, because you got lucky enough to go through hell. I feel like.
No, you're exactly right. It definitely rearranges your priorities and uproots everything you thought you knew, basically. And it's not anything you want to go through, but especially looking back and then moving forward, like I definitely have a different perspective on life, and really appreciate each day, even if it's a monotonous, boring day with no plans. I enjoy it a lot more than I did before. I always felt like I needed to do something or do this. Sometimes just being alive and soaking it in is a great day.
That's awesome. Wait, is it a little boy or girl? Do you know yet?
We're having a little girl.
Okay, I have 2 little girls.
Girl dad, me too.
Girl dad.
Yeah, you're a twice girl dad. Yeah.
Hey,
just wait.
Sorry, Kris. Colton wants to say something to you.
Oh, what's up, man?
It's Colton Ledbetter there.
Yeah. What's up, dude?
What's up? How are you?
Doing great, man. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Especially you got the mug, right?
I did. Yeah, that thing is sweet. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
if you get any more cards, I'll be glad to sign them. So
yeah, we're gonna be doing a bunch of giveaways. We love doing that. Just getting cards to fans and people dig it, and we're living the dream, man. Aren't we all? Right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
we're gonna do this for a living.
Mancini there. Colton Ledbetter, top prospect of ours. Any advice for him?
Yeah, I watched you for a long time.
Oh, dude, I appreciate it, man. No, dude, keep doing what you do. If you're a top prospect for the Rays, I'm sure you're still. The Rays produce some really, really good players. So
farm team,
just enjoy it, enjoy the ride, man, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you in the MLB soon.
Awesome, I appreciate it.
Of course, dude.
All right, man.
Nice to meet you, man.
On the road, man, especially in some of these ballparks, you don't have many places to do meetings like this. So I know some of our coaches get here super early. So I thought about just jumping into the players' locker room to do it really quick. It'll work out. But as you can see, we got guys coming in and out already working out for 6:35.
That's awesome, man.
That's that champion mindset, baby.
It is.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
It's great.
It's the culture, man.
I made a note of something here. I wanted to ask you about the fight movement, the F16HT. That was in Baltimore, right?
Yes.
What did that mean for a community and a group that like you really grew to love, to then turns around and that kind of supporting you through it? How much did that support from a lot of people you don't even know and you'll never meet and never know to be behind you? Like, what does that feel like?
It means the world for a whole city and fan base to get behind you, rally around you. is really special, and they've always been like that. There's a boy named Mo Gaba who was a massive Orioles and Ravens super fan, and I became really close with him. I still, consider him to have been one of my best friends, and he unfortunately passed away in 2020. But he was diagnosed as a baby with a couple different forms of cancer, and he battled it his whole life. And he was the most incredible, upbeat, amazing kid, wise beyond his years, and never once felt sorry for himself, and just always was concerned about other people. And I saw the city rally around him for years, and it touched me. And I think that's part of what brought me so close to the city too. And then during my diagnosis, for them to do it for me meant the world. And it's just a really special group of people up there, and they absolutely love their Orioles and Ravens up there. It's a really cool feel and cool relationship the players have with the fans up there.
Yeah, we'll probably find a couple, because what I do, I give a lot of stuff away. I got cards, I got autograph mugs. Well, I'm gonna send you some stuff and put some ink on, and we'll give it to some fans.
Awesome.
But I'll find a few Orioles fans out there in honor of the Orioles. Y'all are supporting a hell of a team, so I'm gonna give away a couple of Orioles mugs, just because why not, right? Like,
oh yeah, love it.
Some here from like Cal or somebody. I'm not giving away my Cal Ripken.
Yeah,
mugs.
I thought I spotted a Cal one actually in the background earlier somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the Ripken. I got another Ripken one down here.
Yeah.
So this is what I do. Anytime we collab with somebody, I end up getting them to sign a mug or a card or something like that. So my background's filling out. It means we're doing something right every year.
Yes, it does.
I want to touch, because I don't want to keep you too terribly long. Let's talk about the next chapter, right? Regardless of how the stint in Arizona goes, you got the new baby on the way, which is just, it's wild. It's the best thing. You thought baseball was fun.
So excited. I know.
So exciting. But like, what is the legacy? If you can fast forward your daughter, and again, this is a tough question for people to even comprehend sometimes. What do you want that legacy to look like? And I guarantee you it's not baseball, right? Like, what do you want that to look like and feel like, the legacy?
Yeah, like I was telling my wife this the other day, that I just want our daughter, even, sometimes when you're a teenager and then your parents become not cool anymore. I was telling my wife the other day, I was like, I still want her to like think we're so cool and like her best friends, even as she gets older. So, I think that's the most important thing is leaving that legacy and just having such a good impression on your kids. And even though she's not here quite yet, we can't wait to be parents and her best friends. Yeah.
Well, you're already planning 18 years ahead of time. So
yeah.
Ronnie can
that's something that you build day by day. Like I said earlier,
Ronnie, you got a teenage daughter.
Oh man, yeah, she just graduated, bro. Can you?
Congrats, man.
Hey, so how's your family? How's your mom and dad? I know they're pumped right now for it.
They're great. Oh yeah, they're really excited. So I have 2 nephews, so it's going to be their first granddaughter. Oh. They're so excited. Yeah, they can't wait. They're still in Winter Haven, always will be, and they're doing great. So thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. My dad always talks about, hey, is Trey still playing? My brother actually asked about you the other day too.
PJ did?
Yeah, man. It's
Dude,
crazy.
Please tell him hi.
I will do that.
PJ and Vince. Yeah, please. That's great.
Yeah, bro. It's just so crazy how everybody's just taking their journey, right?
I know.
And I talk about this all the time. We have to take the journey, but then it all leads us back to home.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah, that's why. One of the reasons I love what you're doing is, we all, might move away and everything like that, but you never want to forget where you came from. And Winter Haven gave me such a great childhood. I look back and it was such a great place to grow up. We were either out on the lake or playing sports every single day. So, and you never want to forget that. So having a local foundation and being able to give back, especially in Polk County, is really special.
Have you been back recently?
What's that?
Have you been back recently?
So I'm trying to think of when I was back. I think early this year I was back. And in 2024, I was there actually quite a bit to visit my parents. And yeah, we'll go at least once or twice a year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's changed
Yeah. So
It's grown a lot.
a lot.
It's
So
grown a lot.
now here's my ask and my vision with this whole the bigger picture thing, right? Little leagues travel ball is such a big topic now. What I've noticed, especially in Polk County, we have a lot of organizations, but I don't think we have a lot of great coaches. So what I'm trying to do is blend our guys that's been from Polk County to come back to pour into what we've learned through the game, but also teach that it's not just about baseball. This is bigger than baseball. And
Yeah.
that's
And
that's kind of my concept, man. And I think you're a big part of that, and you could help assist with bringing some of our local guys back, being present at the event if possible, but then also just talk about our vulnerabilities, right?
yeah, for sure. And you're right. I think especially something else I'm pretty passionate about is like I do think, not to speak too ill of it, but like the travel ball scene and a lot of that has just gotten crazy. And you still want kids to have like the joy of the game without a lot of, sometimes I think it can just get pretty wild at those games, and the game can maybe not be as enjoyable for them. So you want them to hear the perspective of somebody that's played in college professionally, of how to really enjoy it and know that, when you're 8 years old, you don't have to win every single tournament you're in,
Or
enjoying the
play,
game's the most important thing at that age.
or play all year, right?
Or play all year, play another sport, yeah, we all played basketball. I played tennis growing up. Like everybody played football, I think other sports can bleed into baseball. So if you do just focus on baseball when you get older, a lot of athleticism comes from other sports. So that's that's always my biggest advice for kids, is play as many sports as you can and don't get burnt out of one sport.
Yeah. And then the biggest takeaway for me with this whole thing, right, is when we have these players and these parents that's applying this pressure to these kids already more than what they already have anyways playing this game, they lose their self-identity, or they don't even have an identity at first. But then when you think you have that identity, baseball's taken away from you, sports are taken away from you. What is your identity, right?
Right.
So that's why this is a great blend of things that we're bringing back to Polk County.
Agreed. Yeah. There is a life outside of the game, and you want to try to like build that as early as you can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any advice
That's
for
a
the
great
parents? For the parents that thinks everybody's the next Trey Mancini or Mike Trout, or like what can they do to help their little league player go through their journey?
I know in the moment, like you want your child to succeed, and you want your child's team to be the best team and win every tournament, but just having a joy for the game and thoroughly just loving it and enjoying playing is the most important thing. And you never really know how good you are, I'd say, until you like get to the big fields and like get to high school. Like there are some years, like I remember when I was 13, I was like not good at all. Whenever we went to the big fields, it was an adjustment period. So if you're mashing balls at 8 years old, it doesn't mean you're going to be the next Aaron Judge. Just enjoy each day and enjoy where they are right now, because they're not always going to be that age. They're going to grow up, and maybe they'll play baseball in high school and college, maybe not. But just enjoying every day and making sure they have a love for the game is the most important thing.
And take away those failures, how to overcome those, right?
Right. And baseball, it's obviously you want results, but effort level and having a good process and plan is the most important thing. And it's such a hard sport to get results in every day.
Hey, that is so funny you say that because I talk about this being process oriented over results oriented.
Process, man.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to do. Like we've all
Oh
been,
yeah, I mean, I still like I'm 33, and I still obviously want results, and sometimes can get um, irked if they're not showing up. But having a good process and mindset is going to bring those results over a longer period of time. You just have to stay the course.
stay the
Yeah.
course, trust the process. I love that.
Consistency and alignment, man.
Yeah.
Those two
That's in
things
life too,
cannot
though.
be outstated.
Life too.
Oh yeah, across the board. It's all we're all working on the same like plane. We just do different things.
Right.
How we get them done it's not going to change. Whether it's a realtor, why are there 1% realtors? Why are there 1% surgeons? Why are there there's a 1%, and these are the people that I believe just have a little bit more discipline and are doing the consistent things or the important things consistently, and they don't get off that line.
Yes.
You know?
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I love that in most of these chats, Ronnie, we've been touching on parenting. That's one of the things that I love to talk to people about. I'm certainly not doing it the best all the time, but that's the point, right? And I love talking to people about that. And when you bring up the travel ball, I don't have kids in travel ball, but I see them, and it is wild to see
Thank
something
God.
going on. I mean, there's 8-year-olds with sliding mitts on. I'm like, bro, you're not even getting to first base sometimes, man. Like, what are we doing here? But it's just really getting out of hand. So we'll see. Pendulums happen, right? Like, we'll see what snaps back. I laugh with Rob over at Rustmat. My buddy Rob, he owns Rustmat and puts that on that big tournament over in Auburndale, 350 teams or whatever it is. And, I talked to him about it because he's got a young son that, plays ball and everything. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
Yeah, so anybody listening, don't be that parent.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let the kids play. That was actually one of my favorite shticks that MLB did. Just let the kids play, dude. I love it. I love it at that level to just let them be and let them play and let them have fun. And don't be a prick, right? But that's a level. It's like
like you don't have to show up the team every time you do something cool, but yeah, it's gotten a little crazy.
Don't suck the love out of the game.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. You want to have fun with what you're doing and you want to enjoy it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it 45. Is almost 45 minutes. I always ask baseball questions because I know there's a lot of baseball fans that follow what we do. Obviously you're a great player, great hitter. Tell me about some pitchers that you just always raked against certain pitchers.
Oh man.
Anybody?
I don't want to I don't know if I want to throw any names out there.
No,
I can tell you who I actually just faced him last week. He pitches for the Rangers. His name's Dane Dunning. This dude absolutely carves me up every time I face him. Just it is wild.
Dane's gonna know this now.
Cannot see the ball out of his hand, and he is my biggest kryptonite. There's a couple guys that I've done well off. I just don't want to throw names out there, right now.
We'll pull up the stats. We'll tag
it.
Humility. I love it.
What about Don? Because I was talking to Jared. He runs Dugout for me, and tell me who is just intimidating. If you up on the mound, you see guys like Paul Skeens right now. There's just a mammoth of a man, right? And he's just throwing balls that are going everywhere. But you got the Randy Johnsons back in the day, or you got Big Sexy, Bartolo Colon or somebody like that. Who have you faced that was just intimidating to see up there?
Scherzer was really, I'd say, pretty intimidating, and he's somebody I watched growing up some, and he's just such a gamer and has such an intensity about him every single time he takes the mound, and you need to get up there and match that and really focus up. He's somebody that, it was surreal to face and is definitely intimidating. Local guy to Polk County, Kris Sale, also, I'd say, if I'm going to throw a lefty in there too, he's a really tough at bat, and you've really got to have a good plan to have any chance against him. So those are two guys that always pitch with such great intensity and are still in the game, and doing a great job. So guys that I have very high respect for, and when you're that good for that long, you're doing something right.
Can I stir the pot a little bit? I can call Sel and tell him that you love facing him, and every time.
Well, his release points.
I don't.
His release point's crazy. I was watching him pitch a couple days ago. His release point's crazy. It's way
crazy
out there, and it just comes in.
I don't know how lefties I don't know how lefties stay square and stay in there. You have to be prepared to take a ball to the face.
Yeah, and it's not coming in light either. It's got some stuff. Well, so you talk about a comeback. I just want to give him a shout out because that's a hell of a comeback.
Incredible.
Was he comeback player of the year last year?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so he's working with R2 Cares. He signed some. When we do that big autograph giveaway, and if you want to participate, I'd love to send you some stuff. But we give away a bunch of autographs.
Yeah, love to.
And we're going to probably do that end of this month or into July.
Okay, great.
I'm talking hundreds. We're going to give away 100 autograph stuff, right? And Kris got in on that with us. He's Polk County guy showing some love, which I love that. But I wanted to also, Ronnie, some of you probably know, when you talk about intensity, Fairbanks, watching that guy on the mound.
Fairbanks is also.
Doesn't he look like he's just ready to? But I hear he's one of the nicest, funnest.
Yeah. So there's certain guys that just have a different persona on the mound. He is at the forefront of who comes to mind. When he's out there,
like a serial killer
just
on the
a
mound.
Different, completely different guy, and
he likes Legos.
So many pitchers are like that they need and love kind of having that alternate identity almost on the mound, and that's what brings out the best in them. And yeah, Fairbanks is another very tough at bat.
Well, you mentioned
somebody else you need to match his intensity in the box.
Oh, you want to say hello to Trey?
Who is it?
Trey
Oh
Mancini.
yeah. Well, you mentioned Scherzer, his stare with the two different color eyes. His stare is wild.
Yeah,
they call him Mad Max, and he looks like it. Hey, what's going on?
Hey,
Hi,
Kevin Bowles. Nice to meet you.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
You're with this guy. All right.
Yeah, good to see you.
Hey, let's hear Cross the Bear too. I got him too.
Yeah.
We'll share.
Yeah. So that's crazy, man. Can you tell me one thing I want to ask baseball related? How are we well, not we, because I don't do it anymore. How are you guys hitting these pitches that they're throwing now?
Dude, it is wild. The sweeper, I know it has become popular the last few years. I don't like it very much.
What's the difference in the box? Tell us the difference. The breaking ball versus the sweeper.
Okay, I think the sweeper is harder. Typically a breaking ball has a red dot on it of some sort that you see right away. So you're stay back for an extra split second and then go. The sweeper, for some reason, I think out of the hand is harder to tell. You just see a white ball like it's a fastball. So you process it a little bit later what it is, and then that reaction time is all the difference in the world. And for me, it's more just the immediate recognition of it is tougher than the actual movement, I'd say. The sweepers just tend to have kind of the same look as a fastball when they come out. But yeah, these guys and the plans, all the information that these teams have, they know what you like to hit, what you don't like to hit, where you chase, they know. And they throw it there, and they throw it there, and they throw it there. And I feel 10 years ago, if you took a couple pitches, they'd give in and give you a cookie. They don't do that anymore.
When the speed,
what about the velocity? The velocity.
Velocity's ticked up. Every bullpen guy throws at least 97 now, it seems like. So with an empty breaker.
The starters are doing that now.
It's crazy. Even in AAA, the arms we face this year have been really good, I've thought. And yeah, man, there is a lot of talent in the game now. A lot of talent. Not that there wasn't before, but you can tell a lot of these kids coming up were taught a lot of this stuff pretty earlier than some of the pitchers that were maybe our age or a little older. And yeah, these kids are just ripping it every time.
So you mentioned some talent in the game, like being in baseball, and these are collectibles and the card space and the collectible space that's blowing up. You start hearing about these prospects way sooner. Who have we not really heard about? That's just an absolute freak.
Let me think. I mean, you've heard of him. He's a big prospect in the game. I'm playing with a guy right now named Jordan Lawler. He's the Diamondbacks' top prospect. Talk about an impressive kid. I mean, he's a man, but like I say kid because he's like 11.
You're one of the old guys
11
now.
years younger than me.
Yeah.
But he feels like my peer in a way. He is mature beyond his years. The way he handles himself every day, the way he approaches the game is as impressive as I've ever seen. And I think he's going to be a star. And he's just got that X factor. And you know, he's got a lot of, I guess I throw out like Jeter-ish personality traits, I'd say. Just the way he carries himself, and he's always cool as a cucumber. Just so even keel. Talk about a guy that stays the course. He does it as well as anybody I've ever seen.
Well, it's cool you mentioned the D-backs too. Like obviously I'm privy to what's going on and around. I mean, to see some of the talent over there, Corbin, wow. What a year.
Oh, my God.
He's around with that batting stance adjustment. He's one of the league leaders in home runs.
Yeah.
He's still a lightning bolt on the base path, right? McCarthy, Marte's heating up. Every time I flip on anything, he's gone yard again. Like he's
they traded for Naylor. Naylor's having a great season. Right. You go down the whole lineup, like it's a really good. Pavin Smith is having a great year. He's from Jupiter originally, so Florida guy. He's been doing great, and kind of top to bottom. Like, it's a really good lineup.
A couple other call-ups. With Mauricio, Ronnie Mauricio for the Mets, he just got called up yesterday, and then I think Caglione for the Royals.
He just got called up.
Yeah, he went 0 for 5 last night. That was a bummer, but dude, I don't know if you watched. Like that guy was his first.
He
his
hits
first
the ball.
hit was,
he's gonna be just fine.
Just fine. Like he almost went yard on his first hit.
His first at bat.
Yeah, it was a stand-up double, easy, almost out of air. But so it's cool to see some of that talent coming through there. You know, the one Ronnie, which I was completely unaware, and I'm a Rays fan, right? Was that speedster? I can't think off the top of my head. Simpson, yeah. What that guy? And you're like, dude, watch this guy run, and then he's beating out the field.
You know what
19 bags in 33 games or something.
You know what I love about this, Trey? Is I was actually talking to Kris about this a while ago. I'm like, hey, this dude is special. My brother and dad, they are very aware. I'm like, he's so fun to watch. He changes lineups. I've played with some guys that were really fast, but the way he speeds up infielders is incredible.
Yeah, like he'll hit a single, and before you know it, he'll be on third base. Like he creates runs all by himself.
Yeah. So he's testing everybody's model right now because I don't think there's another player out there with his skill set.
Yeah.
Because the guys that was that fast couldn't really hit or make contact at the rate that he makes contact.
Yes.
So that changes the game.
It does.
And as a pitcher, having that guy on first base, it makes guys like yourself and the guys that's hitting behind him even that much more of a bigger threat because you got more fastballs.
Yeah, when you're only over twice, you know, some of the new rules that you put in, bases are a little bigger. Remember when Acuna stole those bases and they're like, well, the base is a little bigger, and like all these little things make it a little different. And I was looking at you guys, O'Neal Cruz, Ellie De La Cruz, you know, some of these just 6'6", lanky, lightning bolt fast, and have enough power to put it out of a park, right? Like I was like, wow, what a unique. That wasn't like a profile of a player for a while, and then you get some of these guys like this, and then the ones with the speed that, I mean, you could almost bunt and be on first and be batting 7 up. You know, it's crazy to see like how the game adjusts. You know,
agreed.
Trying to at least.
Agreed.
So Trey, again, thanks, man. We definitely
thank you guys. Yeah.
Hey, dude, good luck.
Really fun. Love what you're doing and happy to be a part of it. And I'll send some gear. I've got a lot of extra stuff like
Okay.
you know.
We'll
some-
link
any
up. We'll
broken
link up on a
bat,
text.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll link up on a text after this, and we'll get some stuff. So anybody, because I can't see all the comments, but I'm going to go through because we're on right now Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and a different Facebook account. So I'm going to get this out there, and we're going to do some giveaways. So we'll get some stuff from. In the meantime, dude, good luck with the team. Good luck in A-ball. Best of luck with the little girl on the way.
Thank you.
You can't. You've heard, everybody told me, and everybody told Ronnie, I'm sure. But dude, when it happens, bro, it's special, and I can't wait for you for that because my youngest daughter, who's 5 now, wouldn't be here if things would have went differently for me. And I know that thoughts crossed your mind, like what wouldn't be happening today if things didn't happen different there. And like
Yeah.
the perspective that is oh, it's beautiful. So
It's everything.
Get
very
used to getting makeup on you.
I can't wait.
My youngest goes. I said, "Why are you putting makeup on me? Because you're a girl, Dad."
Yeah.
I'm a dance dad. I'm a girl dad, gymnastics dad. That's how it rolls, baby. All right, everybody. I want to say thanks again, gentlemen, for your time. I know you're busy. Go get into your day. I'm going to go sell some mugs. We got Father's Day coming up. So don't forget, anybody, if you're buying mugs, which you're probably buying mugs anyway, use that link right there. Dugout Mugs /R2 Cares. A portion of every single sale, 20% is going back to the R2 Cares Foundation. So definitely do that. And I'm going to get out of here. You boys have a great day, okay?
All right, guys. Appreciate you.